about it starting a little bit before I was ready, but never mind about that. It's just the way that things work. So today I want to talk about how to actually heal naturally throughout the different phases of your menstrual cycle, because this is something that has not often been spoken about in the current mainstream media or the current world that we are living in. So I would like to spread more awareness to the things that I am about to speak about, and I would also like to make sure that I am able to speak about feminine hygiene and sanitation in a way that is able to uplift and inspire others to take care of their own body, because I know that as a divine feminine myself, it can often be a little bit worrying and a little bit intimidating and scary knowing what to do with your own body when you are first going through different things that you are experiencing. So, today I would like to speak more about all of these different things so that even if you don't necessarily have a mother or a motherly figure around you, you can learn about this information and you can know that you are being looked out for. I am going to leave a disclaimer down below, so just read through that before you watch if you are wanting to find out more information about the legalities of what I am saying. Anyway, with that being said, I am now going to go into the actual lesson slash talk about the menstrual cycle. So first of all, I am going to talk as if you have never even heard of the the menstrual cycle. So I am going to go right from the tippy top. So I will leave timestamps down below to break it down so that we are able to find more easily where we are needing to go for each little bit of guidance. So, with that being said, I'm going to go into the first part of today's discussion, and this part is just again talking about the general menstrual cycle from the top. So, for those of you that don't know what this is a hormonal process that happens which is preparing your body for pregnancy. Now, whether you are someone who is intending on having children or not intending on having children, that is actually what the role of this is to do. One moment, I am just going to have a sip of my tea. Me that you are also drinking your tea. I will list later the teas that are for the different phases of your cycle. So, well, we know that it is helping to prepare for pregnancy or helping to prepare our body for the hormonal changes that are taking place within our body, but I would like to break this down a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. And I would like to talk about the different hormones that take place in the different phases of your menstrual cycle, and I would also like to then talk about how this lines up with the moon phases. So the first thing that I would like to say is that the first part of by build-up of estrogen. So when you are in your first part, you are going to find that you are feeling a lot more active as your estrogen starts to gain in it's not actually strength, but as it starts to gain in concentration in your body, you will find that you are feeling more alert and more more able to do the things that you are putting your energy in towards doing. You are find go into the next part of your cycle that you are actually feeling very full and very fertile, as this is when you start to ovulate. And when you are ovulating, you may find that stuff. Hello, sorry about that. I'm not sure exactly what. For some people, oh, I'm not exactly where it has started recording from. So, anyway, I'm not sure. I'm having a little bit of connection problems, so please bear with me. So, okay, so the next part of your menstrual cycle, you're going to find that you are having an increase of progesterone, which is going to start to trigger your period, which is known as your menstrual cycle. To build up, this is when it starts to become more thick and more rich. And it is during this time that you may find that you are wanting to slow down more and invest more time in yourself. You may find that you are starting to get some spots as well, and this is all normal and natural. Don't worry, don't freak out if you are finding that this is happening to you. This is all part of your menstrual cycle. So, anyway, now going into the next part, you are going to find that as you start to menstruate, you are really clearing out your womb cycle, and this is going to cause you to feel like you are quite possibly very low, but you may also feel very emotional, and this is due to the levels of progesterone that are leaving your body. Now, as these leave your body, this is making way for again you build up your estrogen levels. But when you are menstruating, this is actually caused by a build up of a it's it's not actually a hormone, it is a lipid, which is a type of fat. So before I go into this part, actually, I do want to mention exactly, sorry, I nearly went off subject, but I do want to mention exactly where your menstrual cycle lines up with the moon cycles, because this is something that has intrigued and interested me quite a lot. And for those of you that are a little bit skeptical of this, then I want to this in a little bit more detail. So because our bodies are made up mostly of, we are heavily by the moon, and as divine feminine, we are affected in the way that we cycle each month. Now, for different people, this is going to be different, but for many of us, we are going to find that we are going through. Then we find that we are. Sorry about that. Not everybody on earth is going to have the same cycles, the same lengths at the same time. So, with that being said, I would now like to go into the next part of today's reading. Don't mind my tablecloth, it looks a little bit screwed up right now, but yeah, anyway, it would kind of add to the raw aesthetic. So, I crumpled up the piece of paper before I done this, but anyway, I'm now feeling a little. I was talking about how long it usually lasts for. The usual menstrual cycle lasts between 1 and 30. I believe it's 35. Not 100% sure. I think that might be too long. It might be between 21 and 31 days. I'm just going to have. It's between 21 and 35 days. In 21 and 35 days. So, yes. Your cycle may change from each month within that natural time scale, but if it is more frequent than 3 weeks, then this is actually abnormal and you should probably talk to your healthcare provider about this. But I will talk more in detail in the next part about what an abnormal cycle looks like. However, I am still talking more about how long it would usually last for. So again, this would usually last for your period in itself lasts between 2 to 7 days, and this is usually accompanied by some cramping. So now I will go into what is kind of abnormal and what you should look out for in your own cycle so that you know how to contact your healthcare provider or to get further advice on this situation. So, first of all, you will find that you are now for when you are first going through, so for preteens and teenagers, you are going to find that you are likely bleeding heavier than someone who has already established a healthy cycle. But just take it however it resonates, because you may find that you have got a relatively light cycle. But if you are someone who is passing a lot of large clots, or you are needing to change your pad more than every hour, then you are definitely going to need to make sure that you are speaking to your parent or your healthcare provider about this so that you can get more advice on this. You are also going to need to watch out for bleeding that lasts for more than 8 days, and also bleeding that is more frequent than 3 weeks. So there are things that your pediatrician can do about this, and there are specific teams that are out there that are able to support you throughout this if you are finding that you are not aligning with those same cycles. Don't worry about it, and don't panic, because we are all different, and don't take this as the be all and end all. Again, make sure that you are reading the disclaimers. However, we are now going into the signs that you are having a heavy period. So you may find that if you are someone who has a heavy period, that you are someone who is tired. You may find that you are very tired more than usual, and you may also find that you are actually very dizzy. So you may find that you are going through dizzy spells, and you may even find that you are fainting during these heavy periods. You may also find that you are becoming anemic because of low iron or other nutrients that I will go into in the next part of this discussion. However, you are going to also find that if you are having a heavy period, that you may have some type of brain fog, and this is going to be because you are not having enough blood flowing to your brain, so it is causing you to feel confused and anxious. So when again you first start out, you may find that you are having an irregular ovulation because you are just establishing your hormones, and this is normal. This is actually quite usual, which may lead to you having some abnormal bleeding, and you may find that you are spotting, but this should regulate itself out as you get older. However, you may find that this is due to imbalances in your own estrogen levels, and this is actually what causes the heavy bleeding, because when you are not ovulating in alignment with your body's natural cycle, you are going to find that you are having heavier bleeding because of the buildup of the tissues within your womb. Now, when you start to notice these are becoming more frequent, you may actually find that you are really wanting to talk to your doctor about this, because the more that you have irregular ovulation cycles, the more these are going to become frequent and heavier. So this is kind of usual, because 3 in 10 adults actually experience irregular bleeding, and 8 in 10 teenagers and preteens experience this kind of irregular bleeding. So don't panic too much, and there are different things that you can do. You can be put on birth control and different things like that, hormonal and other types of birth control. However, I am today not talking about those things. I am talking about natural birth control and natural menstruation. So I'm not going to go into those in any further detail, but that is something that you may want to look further into yourself. However, if you are finding that you are having a lot of frequent heavy periods, this may actually be due to you having a bleeding disorder. So don't allow this to go unnoticed, because the more that you allow this to go unnoticed and you don't get it checked out, the worse it will get. And sometimes this bleeding disorder, it is rare, but this bleeding disorder can cause people to have very severe and life-threatening problems. So it is always worthwhile making sure that you are actually looking into your own cycles. Now, this next part I am going to talk about is something that I would say is important for all women to do, but you don't have to do anything that I am talking about, of course. However, this is something that I would recommend. So I would recommend getting a journal and tracking the length of your cycles, making sure that you are looking into exactly what symptoms you are having, when you are having them, and how frequently you are having them, so that you can, if you do decide to go to a specialist about this, so that you can show them exactly what has been going on, so that you can talk to them in more detail about what has been going on, and also so that you can just track these things for yourself, for your own well-being, for your own peace of mind as well, and also so that you can, if you are trying to avoid getting pregnant, so that you can avoid that as well. But I will go more in depth into that in a moment later. So anyway, now I would like to talk about some of the symptoms that we as women have to go through when we do have our periods. So I have already spoken about the different things that happen when you have a heavy period. However, I would like to talk about in a little bit more detail, a little bit more about what exactly happens during your period on a on emotional level. Not because I've already spoken about it in a hormonal level, but I would like to speak about what it means on an emotional level. So during your actual menstrual cycle, you are going to find that you are feeling quite weighed down, and you are going to find that you are perhaps feeling quite depressed and anxious. Now, there are some things that you can do to avoid this. I will talk about this in the next part of today's discussion, but for now, I would like to talk about exactly what it is that you can do to help to make sure that you are not getting into negative patterns during this time. So when you are on your period, it is important to make sure that you are reaching out to family and friends, especially women who are older than you, who are in your tribe, who have gone through these things themselves, because you are going to find that they are able to share their own wisdom with you, which is going to help you to get through this, because you will see that there have been other people who have gotten through this, and that will help you to heal yourself, knowing that other people have been where you are and it is possible to get over what you have been through and are going through. So, when you ovulate, you may find that you are feeling very hot and very irritated as well, because you have a lot of estrogen in your body, and this causes you to feel perhaps a little bit irritated. You may feel angry and aggressive, and you may feel like you don't want to connect with other feminines in your life, because you may see them as a threat to you, or you may see yourself as someone who is getting quite cross and frustrated with them because they're not aligning with what you are trying to envisage for yourself. So now I will go into the treatment that you can do on a natural level, because when you are experiencing this can be very painful, and a lot of people may undermine you, and they may make you feel like you are exaggerating, or they may make you feel like you are just not telling the truth, or whatever it is, but only you know how much pain you are going through. And actually, this is one of the most common reasons that most girls miss school. So don't feel afraid or ashamed of how you are feeling, either emotionally or in your body, because it is normal. So if you are going through an incredible amount of pain, then you do need to make sure that you are, again, talking to a specialist about this. Now, the first treatment that I would like to talk about is essential oils. So the first thing that you can do is you can make up an essential oil blend. Now, I would recommend, myself personally, I like to use a nice blend of coconut oil with mint and lavender, but you don't have to, because you can actually use eucalyptus, and you can buy ready-made, I believe, roll-ons. I will link down below the ones that you can buy, because I have heard that you can, but I'm not 100% sure, so I will just make sure, I will research that and make sure before I say too much about that. But yeah, so you will want to make sure that you have got a carrier oil, which is why I use the coconut oil, but you don't have to use the coconut oil. You can use something like sweet almond oil, or you can also use sesame seed oil, because sesame seed oil is also recommended for when you are actually on your period, because this helps to reduce any inflammation, and it helps you to relieve your pain that you are going through. Now, the reason why you may want to add the mint and the lavender is because the lavender is really soothing, and the mint helps to soothe and numb all of the pain. You can again find different essential oil blends, but you don't want to mix too many different ones together, and you don't want to experiment too much, because when you are on your period, you are going to find that you are more sensitive to essential oils than you usually are, and you will only want to, again, add 3 drops of each to 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil. So again, using 2 essential oils with 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and 3 drops of each essential oil. So 6 drops of essential oil in total, which isn't very much, but a little goes a long way, trust me. Trust me. Anyway, so now I want to talk about the different foods that you can eat, because there are different foods that are going to benefit the different body types, and it is worthwhile for you to actually look into what is best for your body type based off of your DNA as well as your physique. So anyway, the general consensus is that ginger is really good for your for your period, because this helps to reduce any and all inflammation, because you are going to find that when you are on your period, this is caused by something called prostaglandin, which is, now I'm going to talk about this in more detail. This is the hormone. It's not a hormone. I get a little bit confused when I talk about this, but it's not a hormone. It is a type of fat which causes you to cramp. This is what causes your squeezing muscular contractions, which is what actually causes the pain. Now, you need a healthy amount of this for a healthy cycle, but if you have too much of this, then you are going to find that is when you are going through very painful, very crampy periods. So you are going to want to make sure that you are eating a healthy diet to make sure that you are managing your pain, and so therefore ginger is able to help to regulate your prostaglandin. And then you are also going to want to take cinnamon when you are towards the end of your cycle, when you feel like you have got your period incoming. Now, you don't have to do this every month, but if you are finding that you have got a particularly crampy womb space, then this is going to help you, because this helps you to regulate your blood sugar, which helps you to make it helps your body to regulate your periods so that they are actually coming more regular, and so that your blood sugar levels are more leveled out, because this is one of the leading contributing factors to a irregular cycle. And when you are actually eating too much salt and sugar, this is another thing that is going to cause you to have irregular cycles and to have more painful periods, because when you are dehydrated, which eating too much salt and sugar causes, you are going to find that you are actually unable to hydrate yourself properly, and this is going to cause you to feel more run down in yourself in general. So again, you just want to make sure that you are avoiding excess sugar and salt, and you are also going to want to make sure that you are avoiding excess excess caffeine. You can substitute this with chamomile and mint tea. Now, these mint and chamomile teas should be used particularly when you are menstruating, so that you can relax, and when you relax, this is going to help your blood to flow more easily. However, you can drink chamomile for relaxation throughout any time during your menstrual cycle. Now, when it comes to other foods, you are going to want to make sure that you are eating a lot of fresh and healthy vegetables, because eating healthier is going to help you to make sure that you are actually able to reduce any kind of constipation and bloating, because you are likely going to have, especially towards the end of your cycle and during your period, you are going to find that you are met with a little bit of constipation and or bloating, and this is due again to the prostaglandins and the hormones in your body. But when you find that you are having an adequate intake of fiber, you are going to find that the constipation is not unbearable, and you are going to find that this is going to be a lot easier on your whole system, because when you're not straining to go to the toilet, this is not going to cause pain within your womb space, and it also will just help you to feel healthier in general when you are getting all of your vitamins, which I will go into in a moment. What are the vitamins that you need, the vitamins and nutrients and minerals that you are needing. However, I would like to still talk a little bit about the food that you can eat, because you may, if you are someone who is plant based, you may not know exactly what it is that you can eat or what it is that you should eat. So, the following things that I am about to say are things that are really good for divine feminine health. So, peas are really good for divine feminine health. Cacao powder is really good for divine feminine health. I'm just thinking one moment. Nuts are really good for divine feminine health. Peas and pea protein are really good for divine feminine health. Soya and tofu is really good for divine feminine health. Um, and they're herbs, really. Tomatoes are really good for divine feminine health. Yams are really good for divine feminine health. Sweet potatoes are really good for divine feminine health. Coconut is really good for divine feminine health. Fruit and vegetables, really. Fruit and vegetables are really good for divine feminine health. And if you are eating meat and fish, then you are going to want to find shellfish, because shellfish is going to really help you throughout your menstrual cycles. When you are ovulating, this is going to help your eggs to be more rich, and when you are bleeding, this is going to help your period to be easier, because you have leveled out magnesium levels. Now, this is a supplement that you may also want to take, magnesium, because this is something that is good for regulating your menstrual cycle. This helps to make sure that you are having the energy that you need to do all of the things that you need to do, because when you have a depletion in your magnesium levels, you are going to find that you are a lot more tired, and you're going to find that your cramps are a lot worse as well. So you are going to want to make sure that you are eating a lot of magnesium rich foods. You are also going to want to make sure that you are drinking more water if you are having a lot of cramp, because it is likely that you are not drinking enough water. So just making sure that you are drinking enough is going to help you. Now I will go into the herbs that you can use. So I already did mention ginger, but you can also use it's fennel. I get a little bit confused, but dill is actually really good as well. So it doesn't really matter if I get confused, because they're both good for your menstrual cycle. Um, and you are going to want to perhaps make a tea with it. I have got a tea here with some, you can't see, can you? With some fennel and things like that in. It's my little secret blend, so I'm not wanting to give out the recipe, because it is something that I have been Looking into, however, I would recommend, if I were you, using a little bit of lemon, a little bit of ginger, and a little bit of fennel. So, yes, anyway, I have covered the. Oh, no, I haven't. I haven't covered all of the herbs and spices because I suppose they're spices, some of them. You may want to also use turmeric because this is going to again help with the inflammation, and you may also want to use safflower. This is going to help to regulate your hormone levels. This has been used within Ayurveda for quite some time. This is recommended with the sesame seed oil rubs because these are both Ayurvedic practices that have been tried and tested for centuries. So these are things that have been done on other people, not just taking it from my advice. These are things that have been used in Ayurvedic medicine for years. So yes, I think I've mentioned. Oh, and white peony is really good as well, specifically white peony because it is the best one at calming your moods and regulating your hormones. So, you may also want to make a drink out of fenugreek seeds. Um, However, you may want to hold off on this if you are new to your journey because this is something that is going to cause you to really regulate your estrogen levels. And if you are someone who has not risen your divine femininity, so if you're someone who is just starting out, so if you're a preteen or a teenager, you are going to find that this may be a little bit too heavy for you, so you are going to want to perhaps avoid this. So, oh, and another thing again is omega 3 is really going to help. So, making sure that you are eating things like hemp seeds or lots of oily fishes because this is going to help to reduce the inflammation, and this will help to create normal inflammation rather than having this excessive inflammation that is caused by the prostaglandin. So, you now may want to think about all of the things that you can do to relieve the pain in a way of exercise or your lifestyle. So I'm going to now go into this part. So you may find that you are, oh, ow, sorry about that. First of all, I want to talk about the vitamins. So first of all, the first vitamin that you are going to really want to make sure that you are getting enough of is your B vitamins, especially your vitamins B12 and B6, because these help with your red blood cells, your oxygenation of your red blood cells. I can't remember the exact process behind this, but they do help with the regulation of the oxygen within your blood cells. So you need to make sure that you are eating enough vitamins B6 and B12. If you are a vegan, you may find that you are struggling to get enough of this, so you may want to have some nutritional yeast, sorry, nutritional yeast flakes. These are going to help you to make sure. I don't actually currently have any, but these are going to help to make sure that you have enough vitamins and enough nutrients because they are fortified and you can just sprinkle them on the top of your food. And yeah, if you are someone who eats less meat, then you may want to find that you are eating pates or liver, or I think it's like black pudding and things like that, but I'm not entirely sure because I am actually vegan myself. So my recommendation is for those who are plant-based. However, I am not discriminatory, so I am trying to be inclusive of all out there. So yeah, you are also going to want to make sure that you are getting enough vitamin D because this helps with your mood regulation. When you are getting enough vitamin D, this actually makes your reproductive cycle a lot more healthy because you are able to feel good in yourself. I know that sounds like a little bit of a cliche, but because your vitamin D helps to regulate your moods, it helps you to feel like you are able to put your energy into yourself, all of the vital energy that you need to actually look after yourself. And you may find that you are wanting to get this from your foods, but you may also find that you are wanting to get this from going out into the sunshine as well. Because that's the great thing about vitamin D, is that you can get it from the sun. Now, you are also going to want to make sure that you are getting enough calcium because when your bones are healthy, this is going to help your whole reproductive system to work better, and it's also going to help your whole system to work better. And also, I didn't mention earlier, but vitamin B6 is going to help you to it promotes a healthy dopamine and serotonin response within your brain. So it helps you to turn that vitamin D into dopamine and serotonin. So it works well together with the other minerals and nutrients that you are eating. These are things that you are going to want to make sure that you are eating during the first phases of your menstrual cycle, where you are building up towards your ovulation and when you are ovulating. And then when you are ovulating, when you are on your menstrual cycle, you are going to want to find that this is when you are eating lots of kale, lots of green leafy vegetables. This is when you are going to want to find that you are having lots of, if you need to, you may want to have iron supplements. And again, making sure that you are eating lots of vitamin B12, because when you are on your period, you are going to find that this is the time that you may become tired and you may become drained. So again, you may just want to take that little bit of extra care for yourself, and it is important to make sure that you are eating for your own body's needs. And you can get vitamin B6 from bananas and brown rice as well. I just wanted to mention, because that is something that and that helps me to regulate my own hormones and my own vitamins. Now, you are also going to want to find that you are exercising if you are having a heavy or a painful period, because when you are going out for walks, or when you are moving your body more, this is going to help to move that energy out of your body. So if you are on your period, it's going to help to move that blood out of your period rather than it stay. Sorry, that it's getting towards the end of this now and I'm getting tired, so I'm really sorry about that. I also missed one important mineral, which is zinc, because this is actually really important, because this helps you to regulate your thyroid gland, which helps you to again regulate your moods, and this in turn regulates your whole body. Your thyroid really is playing a very responsible. I'm getting towards the end of this and I'm not talking a lot of sense right now. Zinc is responsible for playing a big role within your menstrual cycle, so you are going to want to make sure that you are eating enough. You can find this in pumpkin seeds, and legumes, beans, and shellfish if you eat fish. So that was all that I wanted to get for the vitamins, just making sure I have covered it all. Oh, iron. Did I talk about iron? I didn't, not really. You will want to make sure that you are taking enough iron and eating enough foods with iron in to make sure that you don't become anemic, because if you become anemic, this is when you're going to find that you are having the brain fog. So, yes. Now, I want to talk about natural birth control. Now, I am not someone who is going to talk too much about this today. I will talk more about this if this is something you are interested in, but I will just talk about the few things that you can do when it comes to natural birth control methods. The first thing that you can do is basal body temperature testing. So, this involves learning your cycles, buying a thermometer and an ovulation test kit, and working out exactly when you are ovulating and when you are due for your period. When you do this, you can avoid intercourse, or if you are trying to have a baby, you can actually have sex on the times when you are ovulating. If you are wanting to avoid getting pregnant, you are going to want and with staying for sex during this fertile period. You can also, if you feel like you have gotten pregnant, or if you do have, or if you feel like you have your due a cycle and you have had unprotected sex, you can drink blue cohosh and black cohosh. However, these have been linked to problems within your fertility and your menstrual cycle. So this is not something that I am going to really be recommending, but if you are wanting to look into it, then do your own research and make sure that you are staying wise and that you are staying aware of what resources are open and available to you as a divine feminine. And if you do want to let me know down below in the comments what your findings have been, then do feel free to share so that everyone in this community can find tips for this. However, this is not something that I am going to be recommending today. Now, there are different teas you can drink throughout the different phases of your menstrual cycle, but it goes as following. You will want to make sure that for the first part of your cycle, this is when you are drinking your caffeine beverages. Now, throughout the next phase of your cycle, this is when you're going to want to make sure that you are drinking lots of water. The next phase that you are going through, you are going to want to find that you are drinking different teas such as chamomile and lavender. And phase, you're going to want to drink lots of water and lots of chamomile and peppermint teas. So yes, I think I have covered everything that I wanted to cover today. I believe I've gotten everything down, but also you can burn lavender essential oils and essential oils within your home to help you with in a little oil burner and to help you with your mood, to help you with your pain relief, and to help you with any of your cycle's symptoms. Now, you are going to want to look into what essential oils you can use, and you can go on to my Instagram down below, and I do have guidance on these, and you can also I do have a time of about 2 days until I get back to you because I do have lots of different messages to respond to, so I am not always able to respond as quickly as I would like to. I am just going to check on my notes to see if there's anything. Oh, I will link the iron supplement that I use myself down below because I find that this really helps me, and also kale and spinach really helps me as well. If you have any tips yourself, then please let me know down below, and if your pain is unbearable, do make sure that you are talking to your parents, your school, or your healthcare provider, or your partner if you are living with a partner and you are unable to do your housework or anything like this, because it is important to make sure that you are never suffering alone, and it is important to make sure that you are looking after your own healthcare first and foremost, and don't let anyone make you feel bad for what it is that you are doing in your life. So just stay strong and just have faith. And yes, so thank you very much for watching this video today. I hope that this has been informative for you. I hope that you have been able to find some guidance, and I hope that you are now going to look more into your own menstrual phase and your own femininity, even if you don't follow any of the tips that I have spoken about today. I just hope that you are able to raise awareness of your own body and to help spread awareness to other divine feminines out there, so that we can all raise our consciousness together, so that we can heal and so that we can ascend into this age together. I really hope that this has helped you today, and I hope that this has healed you. And yeah, just let me know down below if you are finding any comfort within this type of video, and also if you have any suggestions on videos that I should make, then let me know as well. However, I am currently trying to stay away from doing too many videos so that I can heal myself. So this is why I am not uploading as many videos as I was previously. I don't want to disappoint anyone or make anyone feel like I have let you down, but yes, I have got a lot of things going on within my interpersonal life. So yes, I will speak to you next time. Thank you very much for watching. One love. Mwah. Thank you. Goodbye. See you.